Detroit Lions fans, it's time for you and I to have a conversation. Yeah, we're only 2 games in. And yeah, this guy was able to turn it around last year with lesser pieces on our team. But we got to talk about Aaron Glenn. We got to talk about Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn's relationship. Now, I want to point out something. This is Aaron Glenn's 3rd season with the Detroit Lions. And overall, the defense, to me, we have better pieces than we've had year after year after year. But the defense doesn't seem to be changing. You could say without a shadow of a doubt that even with a hurt CJ Gardner-Johnson, our secondary is better than it was last year. Now, the loss of CJ Gardner-Johnson does hurt, but we have a solid Tracy Walker to come in. Don't forget about Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch, right? So we're talking about it. And yeah, this is in season. Off season is a lot of speculation, a lot of hype, a lot of building, a lot of anticipation. And for 18 weeks, we get to see all of that play out. Aaron Glenn was in the defense with worse personnel, was in a position that was so bad the first 8 weeks, 7 weeks of the season that even though the defense played as well as they did on the back half, the last 10, the Detroit Lions ended the year with the 28th overall ranked defense. That's how bad. They were so bad. They were trending historically bad, like worst defense of all time. So the question that I have for you, the viewer, you, the fan, is how long do we give Aaron Glenn to turn this defense around, knowing that he has better pieces? Now, remember Anthony Lynn back in 2021. Jared Goff just got here. Dan Campbell just got here. Brad Holmes just got here, bringing his all-star cast. Well, halfway through the season, Dan Campbell removes Anthony Lynn from the play calling responsibilities. Why? Wasn't making anything happen, right? But look at his personnel. He had a Jared Goff who had just been traded. Confidence was shook. In addition to that, we had no wide receivers, but Khalif Raymond. We got Josh Reynolds halfway through the season, but by then Anthony Lynn was already demoted. We had Amara St. Brown, who didn't come on until after Anthony Lynn was demoted. You could say it's because of Anthony Lynn that St. Brown was nowhere to be, that the offense was stagnant. You could say that if you're looking at it that way. But I'm saying, do we really know if that was the reason? But with Aaron Glenn, it's something different. Dan Campbell, we know they have a relationship. Anthony Lynn and Aaron Glenn did not. And Anthony Lynn seems to be doing just fine in San Francisco. But this isn't about him. It is about when will it be time to move on from Aaron Glenn? And if we need to do that, can Dan Campbell do it? Now, the Detroit Lions, after 2 weeks, are their total defense in points. They are 28th in points allowed, and they are 22nd in yards allowed. We held Kansas City to 20 points. You could say we spotted the Seattle Seahawks 14. Either way, outside of the pick six, there were 31 points that count. And just so you know, as far as the stats are concerned, they count pick sixes as points allowed because you could have tackled him, right? You could have stopped him from scoring. When will it be enough for Aaron Glenn? We talked about this a ton in the offseason. What was the point? Where did you expect the defense to be? And now, granted, this is with a healthy cast, a healthy CJ Gardner-Johnson, the team being healthy. Where did you expect them to be? The majority of the response that I got was top 20. We're not there yet, right? If Aaron Glenn and his scheme and his coaching are leading to losses, that's a problem. Will we have to let him go? Now, I will say that Dan Campbell can't put his defense in the positions that he does. When it's time for him to be aggressive, he doesn't want to be. When he should be aggressive or when he should be conservative, he wants to be aggressive. So I'll put 10% on Coach, right? Coach Campbell. When will enough be enough when it comes to Aaron Glenn? The Detroit Lions have, let's look at this because let's look at the defense. This is coming from lineups. Hopefully you guys can see it. Let me make sure. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, I'm going to have to blow it up so you can get a better look at it. All right, so I'm assuming I would have to scroll over. Yes, I do. Okay, so let's look at, this is the sack category. The Dallas Cowboys right now have the #1 offense in the league. I know that because they put up a bunch of points. They have the most sacks in the league with 10. The next team, let me do this so we can see. So the Washington Commanders have 10. The Dallas Cowboys have 10. The Pittsburgh Steelers, 9. In 2 games. Let's scroll all the way down here. The Detroit Lions are second to last. Second to last. Let me just make sure that's right. Second to last with the New York Giants having 0 sacks. The Bears, 2. Seattle, 2. They got Jared Goff at least once, right? Buffalo, 3. Is it scheme or is it personnel or is it both? And when will enough be enough when it comes to Aaron Glenn? In my opinion, Aaron Glenn bought himself some time with the performance from the last 10 games. And overall, the Detroit Lions are 9-3 in their last 12 games. Now, that could quickly turn to 9-9. Or it can turn, if the Detroit Lions stay in the bottom third of the league, will it be enough to save Aaron Glenn's job with the personnel that he has? Will injuries be an excuse for him to keep his job? Because we know that Dan Campbell does not want to fire Aaron Glenn. Let me remind you that Aubrey Pleasant was fired literally to spark the team. In Dan Campbell's press conference, he said something had to change. Couldn't say a bad thing about him. Didn't say it was because Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill torched us. Didn't say anything of the sort. Just said AP's a heck of a coach, but something had to change. And it did. It worked. So what is it going to take for Aaron Glenn to be the next Aubrey Pleasant? I don't know. Did we expect for our team to be where it is defensively? Because it seems like still we can't seem to stop certain things. And now with the loss of C.J. Gardner-Johnson, we know what Tracy Walker is. He's solid. He's solid. And I don't like to say what guys aren't. So I won't, but he's solid. Sometimes when you say something positive, then you got to reiterate what they're not and then come back with something positive. Tracy Walker is solid. But will the defense be enough? Still can't seem to stop scrambling quarterbacks. And we have one coming this week in Desmond Ridder. And but we are pretty good against the run. We are pretty good against the run. I think we're top 10 against the run. So there is some hope. But what will it take? How long will the Detroit Lions hold on to Aaron Glenn? Will he be demoted during the season if the defense regresses? If he winds up and we're halfway through the season and the overall defense is 32, 28, 27, will he be demoted and or fired? I don't know. I do know that this team has massive expectations this year, as they should have. As they should. I said this in the live stream. I don't think that our expectations are too high. Not this year. Maybe last year if we would have had some. Year 1 for sure. This year, not too high at all. Not too high. It is on Dan Campbell to deliver on our expectations. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below when it comes to Aaron Glenn. Will Dan Campbell be able to let him go if need be? I'd love to hear your thoughts. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.